Good afternoon. It's just coming up to 5 minutes after 5 o'clock. I'm Nana Akua. This is GB News on TV, online and on digital radio. Now for the next hour, me and my panel will be taking on some of the big topics hitting the headlines right now. This show is all about opinion. It's mine, it's theirs, and of course it's yours. We'll be debating, discussing, and at times we will disagree, but no one will be cancelled. So joining me today is comedian Leo Kearse and Conservative commentator Calvin Robinson. Still to come, my difficult conversation in the next few minutes will be with a hugely inspirational man who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at the age of just 39. Now, Parkinson's is a condition which affects the brain and becomes worse over the years, impacting functionality of movement. Charlie Akua is a keen sportsman, and he's used his knowledge and passion to support others with the condition. The Great British Debate this hour, the online safety bill has been strengthened with the addition of a number of new criminal offences to force social media firms to act on illegal content more quickly. Cultural Secretary Nadine Dorries confirmed offences such as revenge porn, hate crime and sexual exploitation have been added to the list of priority offences and must be removed by platforms under the new rules. It sparked some criticism over concerns it will limit free speech online. So I'm asking, do you think this strengthened online safety bill will make the internet a better place? Let me know your thoughts. You can email gbviews@gbnews.uk or tweet me @gbnews. So let's start this hour with my difficult conversation. Parkinson's is the fastest growing neurological condition in the world. Now, it's thought around about 1 in 500 people are affected by it. And it's a condition which affects the brain and becomes worse over the years, impacting functionality of movement. My next guest was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of just 39. Now, Charlie Akua is a keen sportsperson. He realised the connection between physical exercise and the benefits in slowing down the disease, and he founded Sports Parkinson's and has gone on to support thousands of people through exercise who have the condition. And I'm very delighted to say that Charlie joins me now in the studio. Charlie, thank you so much for joining me. It's really good to see you. So, Charlie, start by telling me about your story. I mean, what happened? I mean, you were only 39. Talk to me about this whole thing.
I was only 39, but probably when I was about 36. But
Right.
with most people, you don't realise you have the condition because I had no idea about Parkinson's at all, really. I had two sons, both 11-pound babies, big units, and I had a bad back and a bad shoulder. So I thought that just sort of natural tiredness of being a young father and everything, and being injured from having these heavy weights around me all the time.
So what were your symptoms then?
Well, looking back on it, I'm having a great time here, by the way, but I look quite miserable, and looking somber and miserable is one of the symptoms. Quietening voice, walking, limping around. So many people saying why limping around, but just like a bad back. And then I went on a golf tour to Spain and collapsed in the bunker, and I just could hardly move, and came back to the UK, went to the GP. GP said you're obviously stressed, have some Valium. Great time Valium for 3 weeks, but after that I had to go and see a shoulder doctor in Harley Street, and the shoulder doctor told me I had Parkinson's.
Really?
Wrote on his notes, and I was like, I saw it on the notes, and I was like, what's all that about? And he said you've got your onset Parkinson's disease.
And how did he know? Did he do some blood tests, or how would they know?
There's 40 symptoms which you wouldn't know about unless you're involved in the Parkinson's world, as it were. And there's so many ranging. He just listed off so many, and I was like, yeah.
So some of those symptoms would have been what?
Slow moving, minor shaking. I don't shake too much. Minor shaking. Quiet voice, looking miserable. Just lots of things like that.
You don't look that miserable. I think you look all right, actually. you look good. I mean, it's a really tough thing to go through. And what was your reaction when you heard that?
Well, I was glad that I actually found out what it was, but I knew something was wrong with me. It was getting worse and worse and worse over time, and it wasn't getting any better. So I actually had a friend, Dave Clark, who's a team presenter of Sky Sports until recently, and he was on the same road as me. I went out for a drink with him, and I said that very night, and I said to him, I've got Parkinson's. He said, yeah, I know you've had it 2 years, but it wasn't my place to tell you.
Really? So he was aware?
He knew,
He could tell.
And I can spot Parky from 50 yards now.
Is it? Yeah. Wow. So how has that changed your life? Obviously, this is a huge thing to be told And that must have really, I mean, you must have been in shock for some time.
That was a difficult conversation, yeah.
That would have been very hard.
Yeah.
And then obviously you would have to tell, you've got 2 children.
2 children, yeah.
So you'd
Wife,
have to tell your partner.
mum, family, a lot of my friends, but you know, it's like, a lot of my friends are like, well, we knew something was wrong, we're glad we know what it is now.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm a very positive person.
Of course.
And it was really, really bad news, but I've turned into lots of good stuff. Some stuff I've would never do normally, I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And really, really, having a great life.
And what about in terms of the lockdown? Because that must have been quite tough, because I know your philosophy is that actually if you exercise, you can slow this thing down a little bit.
Yeah.
That must have been tough.
Yeah, so if you do clinically proven, if you do 2.5 hours of exercise a week, vigorous exercise a week, you can slow down the progression of the disease, and it does make you obviously feel better within yourself. Lots of people with Parkinson's become quite reclusive and quite introvert and have lots of apathy and don't want to get out and live the life. And what we did, we went to the European Football Championships nearly 3 years ago, and that created a bit of a community around sport and exercise. We founded a company called Sport Parkinson's, which we create events for people with Parkinson's to come together, share ideas, share experiences, share the world of Parkinson's, because it's quite a unique illness. And off the back of that, we've raised £1,000 for charity. In the lockdown, we had a stream of every day online exercise classes for people to go to, and which people have really taken advantage of. Yeah,
I mean, again, it's a devastating diagnosis. You are definitely doing everything in your power to slow it down in a sense. And in terms of the drugs and the treatments that they could offer you, how is that going, and what kind of things what kind of things you have to take?
Well, the main drug you take is Cinemet, which levodopa, which was discovered in 1967. It's a really great drug. I couldn't live without it, but it just makes you feel normal instead of curative. So the motto of Sport Parkinson's is keep healthy and strong till the cure comes along. So the treatments are on the horizon, they're not around the corner at the moment, but we're just trying to make sure we're doing enough exercise. So when it does come time for the treatments, which is coming in this year, we'll be healthy enough to gain the advantage of being able to become better in ourselves. But I'm an ambassador of the Cure Parkinson's, who are in a clinical trials program which repurposes drugs from the market for the conditions. And there's 2 drugs that have been tested this year which we're working on. One's called exenatide, which is a diabetes drug, and one's called Ambroxol, a trial I'm going on, which is for a cough medicine drug. And they're showing curative properties for Parkinson's. Maybe not cure it completely, because obviously they think there's lots of different strains of Parkinson's, like other illnesses. But the Ambroxol trial in particular is for a genetic mutation, the GBA mutation, which I actually have, which is really, really exciting that I might be on a curative trial in the 3rd quarter of this year.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? And if it,
amazing, yeah.
Because as you said, the drugs that you're using, the main drug hasn't been changed since the 60s, which means that they simply haven't been investing in finding a cure. And we know how good they can be when they put all their money behind it. For example, the vaccine rollout, I mean, finding a vaccine, if they could just throw the money into Parkinson's.
At the Cure Parkinson's, we think with £40 million we can cure Parkinson's. That's what we're trying to do with the development board and work on, to try and there's 30 drugs in 30 drugs to identify across the spectrum to find a cure. So you're right, it's not that much, £40 million.
And before your diagnosis, what were you doing and what were you working as, and what kind of, are you still working?
Yeah, I'm still working. I own a recruitment agency in the City of London, in Germany and America.
Oh wow.
Which I've run with two co-founders, which we've got 110 people working for us now. And then I've got, I'm a director of Morecambe Football Club, my hometown football club. I'm a director of Sport Parkinson's, football coach, golf, 2 kids, try to be a good father and parent at the same time. I'm pretty busy.
Pretty busy, and you mentioned Sports Parkinson's as well. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I know obviously you're passionate about things like golf, and you know, there's an event.
We try to make sure everyone can keep healthy and strong till the cure comes along. So whether people who play sport still to a high level, people who've given up sport and taken up sport again, look at our website at sportparkinsons.org, you can look at the stories. And then there's lots of people who haven't tried sport before, but we put these events on. So there's the thing on there called a triathlon, where at Worcester Warriors Stadium. There are 20 different sports and pastimes for people to learn and try and pick up, to try and clock up those hours and miles on the clock with regards to exercise.
And your family, how are they coping? Because obviously, when you get a diagnosis like this doesn't just impact you; it's those around you as well. I mean, you've got a wife.
Yeah, they've been fantastic. My wife, especially, very, very. You know, she's a rock of the family and is an amazing lady. All my family and friends, I'm very open about it. Lots of people don't talk about it and don't tell anyone that they've got it. I was very much more, I want to be positive, try and make a positive impact, and everyone knows, like as a football coach, this morning my drugs stopped working, so I'm sit in a chair on the sideline for 10 minutes, but everyone knows what's going on, so it's not easy to live with. When you try and hide it, I find it's quite, it makes it worse.
And you've had a lot of support, not only from your family, but you've had some celebrities getting involved as well.
Yeah, it's been
who's been your main sort of allies there?
Mike Tindall's my main ally. He's been fantastic, and his dad's got Parkinson's, but there's so many. There's Natalie Pinkham, Di Doherty, Brian McFadden and Keith Duffy, Rory Lawson, Gavin Hastings, loads of people. The community is really, really strong, and we just try to be really positive and try and make a positive impact on people's lives, and hopefully when these trials come on board, I will say, quick plug, we do need 400 people to come on this trial for Roxol. So we need people with Parkinson's, we need people to really come to the fore to try and get this on the market. It's a phase 3 trial, so it's the last trial before it goes to market.
Wow.
And it's really, really hopeful treatment.
Well, fingers crossed, because that would be incredible if they actually managed to find something that will stop this thing and at least help and give some respite to those who have it. I mean, I wish you all the best with it. And if people want to find out more, because I know it's a charity, isn't it, that you have, that they can get in touch.
Sport Parkinson's is sportsparkinsons.org, about all the events. We've got running 5 really amazing events this year. People can join in. And Cure Parkinson's is cureparkinsons.org.
And what would you say to anybody because people are being diagnosed with this thing daily, and it must be, as you've been through this devastating diagnosis, you're turning it around, and I'm so hopeful for you. What would you say to them if somebody's just been newly diagnosed with this condition?
It is terrible. It's really, really bad news, but it's not the end. You can do lots of positive things. The community is really strong. Some amazing people doing amazing things all the time. My life, it sounds bad, but in so many ways my life got better with Parkinson's. I don't mean that in a crass way. I really do mean it, and we're here to support each other.
Well, it's been such a privilege talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And good luck on that trial. I want them to find a cure for this.
Thank you.
It's lovely to talk to you. That's of course Charlie Akua. He's an ambassador for Cure Parkinson's. If you've just tuned in, welcome aboard. This is GB.